Hello, everyone. We want to welcome you to our webinar today. We're excited to have Danny Garcia and Christine Eltz with us from ClickLearn. And Danny and Christine will be presenting on the secret to ensuring high user adoption of your BC NAV solutions. And I know you are all eager to get started with this presentation. So before I pass it over to Danny and Christine to cover on this topic, I just want to remind you that we are recording this webinar as well as all of our webinars. And this will be posted to our on-demand webinar library for you to review or share with anyone. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to type those into the questions box on the webinar control panel, and we will get them answered at the end of our session. And you will also be able to unmute yourself if you would like to address your question at the end of our session. So now I'm going to pass it on over to Danny to kick off our presentation.
Great. Thank you so much, Angie. Pleasure to be here with all of you today. My name is Danny. With me is my colleague, Christine. The agenda for today is going to be as follows. I'm going to do a very high overview introduction of who we are and what we do. And then I'm going to hand it over to Christine. She's going to do a live demonstration of the solution. Then we're going to open it up for some questions. We also have some user cases that we want to share with you as well. So with that, I'll get started. Okay, so ClickLearn was founded about 10 years ago. We have offices all around the world. So Denmark is our headquarters. This is where I am located. We have offices in Florida for the US market as well. That's where Christine is located. We do have offices in India and also in Australia. Our mission is very simple. We help organizations be more successful with their Microsoft platform investments. It's the reason for our existence. And we are in, I want to say, 44 countries now. So we have customers all around the world. And the reason why there's demand for ClickLearn is because user adoption is a struggle. And it's a struggle for everybody that's involved in the process. If you can think about two different audiences. One, the end users that have to learn a new business system. And on the other hand, the other audience would be the IT support, the HR team, and the people, owners of the project that have to deliver the technology. And it's not easy for anybody, right? It's very time consuming. Often there isn't a mean to get all of the different departments to collaborate in the creation of the content. And then when you have system upgrades, or if you're migrating from NAV to BC, it becomes a challenge as well, how you keep all the documentation updated, right? But this is what we address. With ClickLearn, you can go from nothing to a full learning portal following 3 simple steps. Step 1, you're going to click on the business process. So if you have a proper working index finger, you can use ClickLearn, right? Because we're a click application. After you click through the process, ClickLearn will generate a source file. To that source file, you then can enrich it by adding conceptual information, pictures, charts, hyperlinks, right? Once you're done enriching the instruction, you then click a button to produce all of the different learning formats. 7 different learning formats get created at once with ClickLearn. This is where the heavy lifting comes into place. If you listen to some of our customer talk, they say that with ClickLearn, it's 80% faster to create documentation to deliver e-learning, because through the templating, we can deliver all of these learning formats off of a single source file. Then you click a button to publish. You can either publish on-prem, or you can publish to the ClickLearn Content Cloud, which is hosted in Azure. On the bottom left of your screen, what you're seeing are little icons. These are visual representations of all the business platforms that we support. The first one that you see is Dynamics, but that means NAV, BC, CRM, CE, AX, F&O, GP, and so forth. And if you notice the other little icons, we also support Power Apps, Power BI, SharePoint, Teams, the entire Microsoft product suite. Why is this important? Because the reality is that in today's world, organizations need to leverage many different systems, many different applications. And your business process could start in NAV or BC, but then require the user to go into Excel and retrieve some information, go back to BC, and then send an email. With ClickLearn, we are able to follow you regardless of which business system you're using. So that's very powerful. And that's kind of the secret sauce to ClickLearn. We understand the business systems from within. And so with this knowledge and this source file, on the right-hand side of your screen is what Christine is going to demo here shortly. You can generate 7 different learning formats. You can turn at any moment the instructions onto a live virtual assistant that can be summoned on demand by the users from within their BC business system. We also have automatic replay. This is huge because nowadays when there are cloud migrations, right? If you're going from NAV to BC, in the BC space, Microsoft pushes out 2 updates a year. Let's say that you also are modifying your business and you need to have your technology to follow along. You're going to make some adjustments to your business system. So if you do documentation in e-learning the old-fashioned way by doing it by hand, the second that there is a change to the environment, the documentation ceases to be relevant. It's already outdated. With ClickLearn, you can replay your documentation on the new environment and make sure that your entire library, if you have 120 different processes that are documented, will be able to be updated with the replay functionality. Last but not least, we have built-in analytics. That means you can track the utilization of the e-learning down to the user level, if you like. So that is a high overview of who we are and what we do. Now I'm going to hand it over to Christine to do a live demonstration.
Thank you, Danny. Go ahead. Yes, and show my screen. Here I am. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Again, my name is Christine Eltz, and I'm going to take you on through our ClickLearn universe. And I am so excited about all of the products. I really smile every time that Danny gives this demonstration because it's going to be such a powerful feature for you to be able to use it with your arsenal and your toolbox. But what you're looking at here right now is my Business Central, my sandbox. And I'm just going to show you from the ribbon where I've placed our live assistant. Here is a sample of what you will be creating using our ClickLearn Studio. This is what we call a shelf, also a learning portal, keeping in mind everything that you're looking at from here on out, whether it's the branding material here, the icons, the text, everything is customizable to you. We do the templating. You'll be able to add all of your creativity, bring all of your work processes into it. So from here, your end user is going to be able to search for any kind of document. So if they're looking for some if they have a question that they're looking for some documents for customers, it's going to bring the results back for all of those different places where they can search for customer documentation information. They can also download this portal, the full portal, all of these documents, all of the information downloadable into a PDF formatting, and they can put it on a handheld device. They can take it along on a tablet, so it's portable as well if they need to be reviewing some information, whether they're taking a train ride back and forth home from work. We also have a pop-up quick content, so any of these titles or these books, categories, if you will, that you're looking at, I can go ahead and look here at a moment's notice and pick out to get right down into using whatever those work instructions are that have already been created. So here's an example of the 7 different learning formats, and we're going to go ahead and create one very quickly in the course of our conversation here. But you can see we have neatly cropped screenshots. We have the title of whatever that work process is going to be and all of this templating. So we have a bit of a three-part process, whether you click or you tab. Of course, we encourage you to click whenever and wherever possible because ClickLearn is a Microsoft partner. We're going to recognize the data element here. And that's what this bolded text is. This bolded text is not just looking at this neatly cropped screenshot, it's actually looking into the data element. And for any visually impaired, we can always pop that screenshot up for you to get a nice close-up look on where it is that you're going to be working through your process. So this is a web page that we create. We also create downloadable documents. We have a PDF, a Word, and a PowerPoint. We have a Show Me, Try Me, Test Me video. We're going to take a look at all of that. And then we also have a live assistant. So I'm going to save all of this fun stuff for when we circle back around and put it all together. So how do we get this all together? Let's go ahead and get into our ClickLearn Studio. Very quickly, I just want to point out that in addition to creating materials in your Business Central, for those of you that might have some NAV products out there, we also have a conversion process. If you are a ClickLearn user, you may realize that you can take any of your NAV accounts and using a simple file convert process, we can convert or basically copy it over and then use this to replay against your new Business Central system. But for us, we're going to go ahead and get started today with our BC and on-prem, and I'm going to select a new recording. When you select a new recording, you're going to be presented with a variety of the connectors or platforms that we like to use. And as you can see how Danny explained, we are very strong in the Microsoft ecosystems. We have Power BI apps, we have Power Apps, we have Teams. We also have Microsoft Office 365 and then Office for Windows. Of course, the differentiator being that this is for your Start Windows programs. That would be on your laptop or PC. O365 will be everything that's cloud-based. And if you want to even take it a step further, we do also have the web applications and the Windows applications connectors. So if you do have other applications that you work in conjunction with your Business Central, you'd be able to capture steps in those applications as well. So we're very intuitive, we're cross-platform, you could do it on the fly. So lots of powerful features to that end. Here we're going to get started with our Business Central on-prem. I'm going to use my English US. We do have 48 different languages and about 150, almost 150 different dialects. So if you do go global, if you do have any businesses to our partners to the north in Canadian French or to the south and with our Spanish Mexican, we have that available for you too. For right now, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. And in a moment, you're going to see a bright green flash that's going to come across the screen. And that's ClickLearn's way of letting me know, hey, I'm with you. Anything that you could click, whether it's a hyperlink, as you saw that we were able to capture a box. I'm not clicking on anything, but anything that does have that integrated background information to it, ClickLearn is going to be able to capture that for you. We're just going to take a couple of steps. Let's get down into our customers. And so now that I'm clicking on it and I'm moving through whatever your business process is, we're just going to take a moment here and we're going to get into our customer account and grab a couple of fields just to be able to show you. If I want to verify some address and contact information, I can click. If I actually needed to type the information in, I could actually type the information in as well. And then we're just going to grab an email over here. So a couple of steps just for you to see how quickly and easily, as long as you've got your work process, whether it be through a business use case or if it's a script maybe from your quality assurance team, and then you're going to decide where you want to save this recording. A lot of options here as well. You could save it locally on a hard drive, whether it's a laptop or a PC desktop. You could save it out on a SharePoint site. You could save it on OneDrive. You could also choose to save it on a shared server. So if you do have multiple people writing your documentation, you can store it into a shared drive out on a server so everyone can access together. Now you're going to want to give meaning what it is, basically defining what these work instructions are. So I can simply say here, I'm going to do PC. Whatever would give meaning to your exercise, pardon me. And so it brings me now back here into my ClickLearn Studio. So now I could take, and using the edit function, here's where we really have a lot of different wheels that we could bring in. I can zoom you through the ClickLearn universe here, like Danny said, on a high level, but you can see the power of the templating. So ClickLearn has gone ahead and immediately put it together. So here's my web page over here. I have my preview, my review, if you will, on the right-hand side, and then all of the steps are going to be on the left-hand side. We got cute little steps that we can go through. You can see we have the neatly cropped screenshot. We also have that area or that element. So all of this customization with the templating, you can create your own text if you'd like to as well. If you'd rather it to simply say to click the field address, you can do that as well. Just keep in mind that that a little bit of editing for changing any of the area that we have. This is really the magic of ClickLearn, is that because we are so intuitive with all of the Microsoft products, this is what really drives the ease and use of being able to generate your materials very quickly, to replay them very quickly. And oh, hey, Danny had also mentioned about what happens when you've got to update if there's a release from Microsoft, or if you have a business manager that says, hey, these steps have been really great, can you go ahead and add another step? So they're looking to see if we could validate the phone number information. And yes, we can. And very simply, you just need to come back out here to the screen. We're going to grab this phone number. Yep, right in place. And now right within our steps, I'm going to just say, let's record one new step. ClickLearn brings me right back out. It goes behind the scene, so it doesn't want to be in the way. And in just a moment, I'll get that green flash. And I just click right in that step using the control keys to shut it down again. And now the templating puts it right there where I need it to be. And again, if you wind up putting it in the wrong place, it's easy peasy just to be able to do old copy and paste or cut and paste to put it all into the right spot. Now we have a little bit more editing that we can go ahead and just, if I want to make sure that all of my steps, I've got them properly captured, I'm going to save this little change here, and just to show you the replay, to give you a little bit of an idea about the replay functionality, I'm going to bring us back out here to our main page. And I want ClickLearn to go ahead and just follow through these steps with me to make sure that I've got a nice clean capture, and I'm going to use the replay here. And as soon as with that file highlighted, and everything is moving very slow today. I apologize. I'm coming to you from St. Petersburg, Florida, so we're under a bit of a cloud. And when I say yes here and keep it with my language, my native language, ClickLearn, I've taken my hand off the mouse, and ClickLearn now is going to take a moment, and it's going to grab those steps, and it'll walk through those steps very cleanly. This is ClickLearn doing all of that heavy lifting. It's going behind, it's capturing all of these steps, making sure that I've got my information corrected. Yep, it's picked up my phone number. So I'm as happy as I can be. So now it's saying that my steps have been completed. If I want to produce the material, and we'll get to that in just a moment. One other little piece that I just wanted to point out is we do have a lot of great editing features. If you have a lengthy work instruction, you can create chapters and subchapters. We have what we call a bookmark, which is basically the entire screen that you would be able to capture and put in. So if you need to have an intro as to where your end users are going to be working. But one of the other features that I really like, we have an address, a phone number, and an email, and all of those are together in one spot. So I can come over here on my working side, on my left-hand side, I'm going to hold the control key down. I'm going to capture those 3 steps, and I'm going to group them together. Then when I group them together here, now I have a little bit of flexibility with the image. I could do a little bit of editing. So with this bright happy lime green, if I just want to take a couple of minutes and just capture so my end user knows entirely this is where my screen is going to be captured, I need to make sure I keep those defined elements within my capture area. When I say okay here, now I have a chance whether I want to have a numbered list of each step and a bulleted list. So keep an eye out here, because when I say okay, Now ClickLearn has gone ahead and using the numbered list, again, it's all in the templating. I love this part of it. I also have the ability to have them insert the object, put that numbering on top so that my end users know which steps, how they need to proceed. But if that looks a little too busy to me, maybe I just want to have the steps. If it's not a mandatory field that one has to follow another, again, doing all of the work on the left side, I simply come here and say, let's just give them a bulleted list. Keep that cropped to the group, and now that I can say okay, and I have all of my neatly cropped screenshot now. Here's all of my steps. My end users know exactly what they need to do. If I need to add any more detail, because this is of course a very high level, I'm letting my end user know what to do. If you've ever created materials, you would add a note or you'd have a descriptive paragraph. You can do all of that with every one of these steps, even for the ones that we've grouped together. So if I wanted to just open up my group here and I'm just going to highlight my email, I want to add a note because if I do have any international calling that I need to do, I could say, and I can make sure with my placement that I want to keep it with that previous step. I want to keep it with my phone number. So I'm going to say, okay, no, I don't want to insert it at the end of the group. I want to keep it right with that step. And ClickLearn knows what I want to do with it. Now I'm happy. I've added my node. I've updated my group, my steps together. Now I'm going to save all my changes. And here is where we produce the material. So we've done our recording. Danny's next step is produce the material. We've done our edits. We're going to keep it with our English US. And now you'll see in a moment, ClickLearn's got our visual reminder down here. So we are going through and pardon me, ClickLearn is going through and it's looking at that highlighted file that we just got done creating, and it's producing those 7 different learning formats. So this is going to be very powerful for you. For those of you that are thinking, I'm going to need at least 8 hours for every 1 minute of video recording, plus I need to create a PowerPoint. I need to make sure I've got my quick reference guides all done, my handouts. All of that has just been done with you for as long as we've been talking about it. So let's come up here now and take and view it from the web page. So web page is number 1. It's taken all of my materials. Here's all the templating, which is what we looked at the top of our conversation here. Now I also have my downloadable documents. I have that PDF. I have the Word, the PowerPoint, the Show Me, Try Me, Test Me video. So let's take a look at the Word first. Word opens up in its native application. The PDF opens up in Adobe Reader, not the full Adobe Acrobat, but here with our it is similar in style to the quick reference guide, to the web page, and to our Word document. We have some additional metadata in the heading as well as in the footer, so that way you can keep track of all of your information right here at a glance. You'll be able to see who the author of the document is. We have it captured by the beginning of your email address. So I am Che at clicklearn.com. That's me. Today's the date that it was created on. And then I have all of my instructions again on the left. Here's my visual on the right. And it picked up all of those updates and changes that I made. The PDF, as I said, it's stylized just the same as the Word document. So let me jump down here real quick and show you the PowerPoint. This is really very handy. If you have your business has already purchase the product and they want to see, give me an idea. If you've got business stakeholders in a conference room, you can go ahead and fire this up and go into the conference room with confidence and say, this is all of the materials that we've been able to create. You can also take this as an end user when you're doing in-training in a classroom. Now you've got all of the conversation around each one of the processes that you've taken and clicked through. You also have your title up here as well as your text across the bottom. So you can, and again, all of this is templating. I was playing around putting some on the left and on the right. You could do it up and down. All of the templating is going to be customizable up to you. Now let's take a look at the Show Me, Try Me, and the Test Me video. The Show Me video, when I click on this here and get started into it, again, this is part of the templating of ClickLearn, is that the video is all in here. I don't have to worry about recording my voice and manually overlaying it on top of it. We do use the voice cloud, and if you want to listen to any and all of the voices, they are on our clicklearn.com website. We have 10 different dialects, I think, for US, male and female voices, regional as well. I think this is Miss Sally that you'll be hearing. So as soon as I click here, I want you to pay attention to the mouse as it moves cleanly through. ClickLearn has cleaned all that up for you as well. And you can speed up or slow down the voices to your satisfaction. But I'm literally going to take my hand off the mouse and I'm going to let ClickLearn show me the work process.
Click on the navigation menu item Customers. Click on the link and cell number with the value 10,000. Click on the field address. Click on the field phone number. Please enter a country code before any international numbers. Click on the field email.
And again, now we have an optional feedback panel, so I can leave some feedback. I could say, and we're going to take a look in just a moment where you'll be able to pick up all of those data analytics. The Try Me video now becomes interactive. So we're going to have the auditory, we're going to have the visual to be able to read, but now we'll also have the tactile or kinesthetic for those of you that like to get your hands on the process.
Click on the navigation menu item Customers.
I'm going to silence Miss Sally for just a moment so we could talk a little bit. Again, you can see your visual for reading. Now I also have this red rectangle. So ClickLearn is now guiding me through the step-by-step process. And as an end user wanting to become familiar with the application, I want to reinforce my skills, my understanding of those steps. Now I'm being guided step by step, and I can take this over and over and over again. I don't have to worry as a trainer of having to give them a special password. I don't have to worry about having a special data set for updating in a training environment. This is now repetitive that they can do over and over at their convenience. So now I'm going to again follow through on the steps and getting into, I have my friendly reminder here on what I need to do. And again, options, if you want to have those turned on and off, all of that is part of your templating, your customization processes and the optional feedback. Finally, we have the Test Me video. And I'm going to start up.
Click on the navigation menu item Customers.
Just going to silence Miss Sally for a moment. Now, this becomes a SCORM compliant package. I have the visual that I can read. I have the audio. Miss Sally's helping me along. But now I better have been paying attention, because if I don't click exactly on that spot, or not exactly, but if I don't click on that particular step, ClickLearn is going to just, I think I have 5, after that 5th attempt of trying to get there, now I'm going to be presented. So I am being graded on what my steps are here. We even have customization if you want them to be able to select anywhere on the row. Powerful, again, edit functionality we have everywhere. So we have our address, we have our phone number. Here's our little friendly reminder to read through there. And then finally, we're going to finish off with our last step with our email. So now you can see I barely passed because I have the 5 steps. I didn't get any points at all for that first step. All of this is customizable as well. And it comes with a SCORM compliant package that you can make a request to have this OData feed uploaded into any learning management system that you have, and then you'd be able to use your reporting processes within your LMS to parse that data out and get it attached to whoever the end user is. So now we've created all of this material. How do we get it? It's like, okay, Christine, you showed me this earlier. How do we get it back out here? How do we get it there? Now we come up and use the same process. We create a new book, and then we take our recordings and we put them into the book. Once we've got those books created, we also then will create a new shelf, and we take that shelf, we create it, we give it a name that would make sense for your end users or whatever you would want to call it, an inside help, a learning portal. And then from here, this is where you'd be able to produce and actually publish your link. And by publishing the link, that will then take you out and create an HTML link that from here within ClickLearn, and this is on our Azure platform, you would be able to grab your published content, is what we would call it, that link, and all of this is our training material. But from here, you pick up the link, you copy, you paste it, you work with our customer care team and your tech team to decide where you would want to put it into your application. And then from here, as you can see, we use the learning and onboarding under the Insights heading. We've activated the assistant from here, and that's where we produce him he'll show up right here on our ribbon. So now, as the end user, I'm a brand new employee, or I could be an employee that has not used this particular function or feature in my BC application. So it's available to anybody 24/7, 365. Once you get it published and put out here, and I could look through those videos, I can look through the documentation, but now I can be guided step by step. This is kind of like the Try Me video, only now it's within your live application. And again, this is customizable as well. So if you have male, female, beloved president, however you want to customize the live assistant, you can. But now I am getting just that, the live assistance. So now I'm clicking in the box as my assistant is helping me getting into each one of these steps. I'm clicking, being an active participant, learning, being guided. So even from day one, if I'm an employee that has not seen the application, but I know that there's some changes that I need to be made, if I have a stack of papers on a desk or in an electronic in basket, I can have that brand new end user be productive from day one because they're going to follow through these steps, being guided by my live assistant in my live environment. And if I need to type in anything, I can do that as well. So really very powerful features all the way around through all
Christine,
of the different phases. Yes.
can I just ask if we can go back to I don't know if you can bring the live assist again real quick. I just want to take a pause here and I want to share with the audience perhaps a user case. There is a company, it's a global construction company, and they were undergoing a cloud migration, right? And they had started doing documentation the old-fashioned way. And you can imagine that when you're releasing a new business system for the end users, there's a learning curve that has to undergo, right? People are going to have questions, they're going to have doubts on how to complete processes, and that will generate help desk tickets. So as far as considering the ROI of ClickLearn as it relates to a new implementation or a system update, this particular company was able to see a reduction in help desk tickets by 33% the first month alone. They were able to exceed 50% reduction in help desk tickets, right? So queries reduced over 50% while adding more users and adding more features to the environment. So when Christine just showed here how in a matter of minutes, she was able to build a full learning portal for this particular set of instructions. Not only that, but create a live virtual assistant that can be summoned on demand by the end users. So think about how powerful this could be, right? Like nowadays, we don't have the luxury to shoulder tap somebody sitting next to us. Hey, can you please help me? I need to, create an invoice, or I need to create a purchase order, or what have you. This is your virtual shoulder tapping, and it's on demand for the end user anytime they need it. Specific, it's micro instructions, specific to the business system that they're in, specific to the task that they need to complete as an employee. Sorry, Christine, I just wanted to share that with the audience. Please go ahead.
That's great little a great little aside. And in addition to all of that help, just keep in mind that we have also in this particular example here, our inside help, we've added the Microsoft help. So you don't have to go to the question mark for any of the tables or the pages that are within your Business Central Microsoft help. It's all built in right here in this one place, easily accessible from this main dashboard. So great, Danny, thank you. Then the last thing that I really wanted to show is Danny talked about data analytics as well. So here, again, within the ClickLearn portal, the dashboard analytics are going to give you both of these, just all of this high-level detail of your heat map for where your employees or where your end users are located, and that's based upon what the learning portal is that you're tracking. So you could drill down, get down to that granular level to see where your end users are. You could also see here at the high level what your end users books are using or what the materials are that they're consuming, their top books. And then here, our dashboard tiles right across the center, this is really very powerful because this is all actual ticks of who your end users were that accessed how many pages have been viewed, the Word documents, the PowerPoint, the PDF. Now keep in mind this could be somebody if they are taking the Show Me video multiple times, but at least that helps to give you the idea of seeing the user adoption is going to be growing because your end users are consuming the information. They are using it, the Try Me, the Test Me video. And then overall ratings in the feedback panel. So this comes from the Show Me and the Try Me, whatever the sentiment is that your end user has selected, and then any comments that they did leave there in that feedback panel. And finally, below here, you can see the top search results. Well, this comes from that search bar right at the very top of your learning portal within your application. So you can use this as a trainer, as a learning and development team. If you have a lot of people that are looking for Chrome, do you have enough of materials out there? Maybe you need to create more materials. If you're not seeing a lot, maybe 53 of them for the voice. Again, maybe you have plenty of documentation there, so now you can concentrate on picking up another one. Maybe there's a business manager that has come and said, I have a lot of people that are looking for that assistant. So this is just great feedback information for you to be able to work internally as a learning and development team to be able to create or generate more of your work processes. We also have help, so we never leave you stranded. With internally, we do have our content, so we like to say we take our own medicine. So as a ClickLearn Studio, as a ClickLearner, you'll have access to all of the materials for creating your templates, your books, your shelves. We also have a community. So we like to say this is for us, by us. Again, you can come on in. This is out on our ClickLearn webpage, and you can join the community. If you have a question about anything, if you need to get a little bit of inspiration for how you think you could build something, this is a great session that was just in June, our Show or Inspire, and you'll be able to see a variety of businesses globally and how they took ClickLearn to the next level for their own business. So we have a wealth of information. We have technical support literally at your fingertips. So if you do have a problem with any of your recordings, you can send that off to our customer care, and they'll be able to help get right back to you, diagnose whatever the problems are that you have. So you are never alone in the ClickLearn universe. And Danny, that's all I have.
Wow, that was a lot, Christine. That was very nice. Thank you so much. I think this is probably a good time to perhaps open up the mics and feel free to reflect on what you just saw. I know it was a lot of information, but if this resonated with your user case, with your current situation, or if you just want to comment on what you just saw, go ahead and unmute your mic. You can also enter your questions or comments in the message box as well.
Thank you, Danny and Christine. We do have a couple of questions that came through. So while we're waiting for some people to possibly address their own questions, shall we go over these questions?
Yeah, go ahead. You can read them out.
Okay. Okay, first one is, how can ClickLearn support my NAV migration to BC?
Okay. I'll leave it for Christine. This is, I think Christine, this has to do with the replay. You demo this a little bit, but maybe you can speak to it again.
Yes, so if you have any NAV products, you can, if you have already created documentation, and I just have a little example here that we had created for a NAV 2018 account. So any existing information, we do support the NAV. If you are migrating up to Business Central, you can take those recordings and come up to what we call a file. I could just show you quickly, file convert, and we have our Microsoft Dynamic NAV recordings. So you have a choice here whether you'd like to add a version number to the back, if you want to just include the recording where no conversion is needed, or add a version folder on that lowest level. And then here's where you can choose how do you want to convert. So we're going to convert it to our Business Central, or if it's a web, we can certainly go ahead and say okay here. And then what we're going to do, well, this particular example I had already, I converted it. So by having that file highlighted, you can see here that I hadn't edited to a version of a BC2. So now I have not touched my original recording. I've converted that, and then I would use this to run it against my BC application. So whether it's an on-prem or on the cloud, you'd then be able to use the replay function to replay it against your Business Central system. And again, keep in mind, even if you have customizations, any customized fields that you would have, ClickLearn is going to know that. Again, because we are that Microsoft Gold partner, we've worked with the Microsoft technology, so we will be able to find those customizations as well as any updates.
Okay, thank you. And another question, can you talk about learning curve for end users?
Sure. So the three pillars and the secrets to user adoption, which is how the ClickLearn solution is built, is that the content needs to be of high quality, it needs to be accessible, and it needs to be relevant to the end users, right? And so part of the learning curve is that quality means that you can have 10 people creating learning content, and it's always going to look the same. Your consistent branding, it's going to have the same vocabulary. Everybody is going to be able to generate similar or the same formats. Availability means that it's from within their business system. It can be consumed from any mobile device. It's searchable. And then last but not least, relevant means that you can replay the content, right? So to make sure that it's always updated. But then we have the built-in analytics that you can track. So with ClickLearn, you giving the audience many different learning formats. So whether they're auditive, visual, or kinesthetic, you have many different learning formats that you can support. It's available to them whenever they want. And then you have the testing video, right? With the testing video, you can keep track of their acceptance level, on their proficiency level, with the instructions that you're giving them. So we don't necessarily track the learning curve as you would in a learning management system. So a learning management system, which by the way, ClickLearn can be utilized with a learning management system, right? As long as we can export SCORM compliant packets for the LMS, you'll be able to deploy learning with your LMS. But you do have all of the tools necessary in order to provide your audience with the most diverse set of formats at the time that they need for the content that they need.
Okay, thank you. And another question, we have a lot of third-party apps as well as our own customizations. Can ClickLearn support all of my customizations?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Go ahead, Christine.
Yes, absolutely. Because we have our web connector, we definitely are cross-platform. We like to say that we could capture maybe 90 to 95% of those steps that are in your web application because we're not really familiar with what the developers have put into that design element area, but you can absolutely use ClickLearn with third-party applications.
Okay, thank you. And another one, we have a small group of NAV people internally. What skills are needed to begin working with ClickLearn?
Danny, can I take that one again?
Yeah, go ahead, Christine.
Okay, so so really your skill set is, as long as you're comfortable using your computer, ClickLearn is very easy to pick up and run with. You just need to get some few foundational, like, practical tips as far as like scaling and making sure that your laptop or your work area is kind of clean and ready to go. All of this is handled through the ClickLearn fundamentals courses that I would be your, as a customer success manager, that would be up to me to just help guide you through. We'll get that ClickLearn Studio on your desktop, on your laptop, go through a few steps process, takes about 90 minutes, and then you'll be ready to go. So there's no coding at all involved. You don't have to worry about, getting down to the level of coding into a template. And as I said, we do have the instructions, we've got the help support, so you can make your very high level templating and it will be able to be used through those customizations through all of your other your show me, try me, test me videos, all of the other materials that you'll be creating. Really very fast. Scaling up is very fast.
Okay, thank you. And this is a bit of a long one, so I may need to ask in two parts.
Go ahead.
We record processes in NAV, say NAV 2013, then upgrade to BC 14.x. ClickLearn will upgrade, convert the training to the new UI, RTC,
Yes.
or modern web, or both?
We have right now, when you use the conversion process, we have a variety of choices. So I'm not sure which one 14 would be, but if you notice, we've got the Business Central Web, we've got 1516, we have Business Central Web, we have the Business Central 2018. So any one of those should be available. However, having said that, we do offer a trial training. So if you are in that position right now that you would like to road test, take a trial, I'd be happy to go ahead and set something up with you to road test it in your own systems.
Okay. And second part to that is, can we see an example of that conversion and how users can see the change of the UI for the same process? Is that possible?
Because I'm attached with training databases, I don't have I wouldn't, like, my Business Central is on-prem and my NAV is on another desktop, so I can't navigate between the two of them. So I can't give you a demonstration of that today. That's why I would encourage, if you have them together on your systems, I'd be happy to go ahead and have you take a trial license and we can go ahead and do some screen sharing and walk through that together with you.
Okay. I will reach out to the attendee and see if that's something that they would be interested in doing. And we do have a couple more. I know this may be a difficult answer, but how fast can we expect to get something out of using ClickLearn? Let's say a learning portal as you showed today.
If you have your work processes already set, whether you've gone through and have your business use cases, or if you have scripts, if you have a subject matter expert, as quickly as you can click through with what we just did in the last 40 minutes, as soon as you can click through and create, you can create a learning, you can have your materials all together we can have a link up and running for you within, really by the end of the day or within 24 hours. So depending upon how robust you want to build and make, you can really have a learning portal to be able to consume information in as little as 24 hours.
Angie, can I share my screen here for
Certainly.
now? I like to show an example as well.
Okay, you should be getting that right now.
Yes. Okay. Great. So just as an example, when this whole COVID thing went down, we started doing a lot of exercises to keep everybody engaged and collaborate. And one of the neat exercises was the customer support team had like a hacker challenge of what can you build in one day. And one of the guys said, well, we're using Teams a lot lately now. And wouldn't it be neat if maybe we or I build a Microsoft Teams learning portal? And so you can see here, this is similar to what Christine had shown. This is fully dedicated to Teams. If I click on the bottom here, this gives me an overview of what's in the learning portal. Everything that's bold pertains to the books that you have here, and then you can see all of the instructions below it. So within one day, this person was able to build this learning portal. And then, with a little bit more work, he was able to even translate it. So if you look here in the top right, you see this little globe. And so he did some translation to other languages. This is German. And then, of course, with ClickLearn, you can see how we automatically can also translate. We use the same robotics functionality as we use for the replay function to. So this is the learning portal now in German. Of course, English is easier for me. So yeah, it's fairly simple. It's you don't need to code. It's a click application, and we can get you up and running in no time.
Okay, and we just have a couple more questions. If anybody has any further questions, if you'd like to unmute yourself, please go ahead, or you can put your question in the questions box. One is, on top of moving from NAV to BC, we are also planning on using Microsoft Teams, Office 365, and Power BI. A lot of our processes move back and forth between those systems. How or is that supported by ClickLearn? And forgive me if I missed this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think we've touched base a little bit on this already. So ClickLearn does support multiple applications, right? So it's intelligent enough that, as you saw Christine, when she was hovering the cursor in different areas on her screen, the little logo on the cursor changed from BC to Windows and so forth. So if you're capturing a process that's outside of NAV, ClickLearn will recognize that. So you are able to record other applications. So it is cross-application. As I mentioned before, the entire Microsoft product suite, right? Yeah. So I think we have just a little bit of time left for this call. I want to maybe share the last few slides. If there's other questions that come up, please, by all means, you can unmute your mic. You can also type them in the message box. But I wanted to share some. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, we do have one question that came through.
Yeah, sure.
How many man-person hours to create the Teams sample portal in one day?
So you mean how long would have taken if we had to build it by hand? So that learning portal, without the translation, just the learning portal alone, was done within a day by our team members within the hacker challenge, let's say.
Okay.
What would that have taken? Good knows, I don't know, a long time, right? Like if you've ever recorded videos with the screen recorder tools, it takes forever for you to get your script and your cursor and everything are all aligned and correctly. Yep. So here what I'm showing is a success story. Ascensus is a company here in the States that help a lot of Americans with retirement and school financing. They were doing a big cloud migration, and the program manager basically had to make a decision. I'm either going to staff up and hire people to be able to meet our technological roadmap, or we need to do things differently, right? Because they were doing this huge migration and nobody was talking about e-learning. And at the end of the day, digital transformation is not about technology, it's about people. If we cannot get the people to adopt the solution, it puts a risk on the investment, it puts a risk on the business, right? And so they took on ClickLearn and they started with just Dynamics. The HR department found out about it and said, why aren't we using this for other solutions that we have? And so now it's being rolled out to the entire company as a centralized place in order to collaborate between departments and to keep know-how in the company and to also deploy learning materials for the entire corporation. George Fisher is a case out of Europe. In this particular case, they have many locations around the world, and they really needed to localize the learning portal. So they are able to localize to 7 different languages. And so the manager basically says, like, look, if I had to do all of this by hand, I would spend my entire day doing translation. So in this particular case where they have a need to localize to many different languages, ClickLearn becomes a must solution. And then multiplex, I talked about this. One of the last things I want to mention is that for us, we pride ourselves in making sure that there is a big S on our chest for support. That means a real life person that can train you on how to be proficient in ClickLearn. It means you're going to have access to our learning experts that can share best practices, how to structure learning portals. We have what we call the ClickLearn universe, where we have robust learning courses. You also have the ClickLearn community, where a lot of the different authors around the world are sharing how they're using ClickLearn to increase user adoption in their organization. So what I would say to you is, if what you saw today moves you, if what you saw today resonates with your particular user case, I would encourage you to experience what it's like to be a ClickLearn customer. So to that end, we have a program where we give you the keys to the kingdom. You're gonna get access to all of the capabilities of ClickLearn. We're going to, in a short amount of time, train you to be proficient, where you start making recordings and get a feel for what it's like to use ClickLearn. And certainly, I suggest that you reach out to your Innovia account managers, to your Innovia contacts. They can put you in contact with us, and together we can, give you the opportunity to experience what it's like to use ClickLearn. Angie?
All right, Danny, thank you very much, and Christine, for presenting today. I believe those are the only questions that we had for you today. It's a lot of great information. I know that it was a little bit intense. So if anybody has any further questions that you would like to discuss with the ClickLearn team, please feel free to reach out to Danny and he can get those addressed. Or if you'd like to reach out to your account manager, feel free to do so as well.
Okay. Thank you so much from my end. We certainly appreciate Innovia for giving us the opportunity to share a little bit about what we do and how we do it with everybody. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. And just to let you know, we do have some more webinars coming soon. This afternoon, we have Desiree Gagir from Inovia Consulting, and Des will be presenting on, is it wise to modify your NAV BC system? And tomorrow we have Dynamic Web presenting at 1 p.m. Central, and they're going to be presenting on advanced e-commerce with Business Central, unlocking new online revenue channels. So check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's inovia.com/events. Have you heard our podcast yet? It's called the Inovia Conversation, and we just want to encourage you to listen to our selection that our hosts, Steve Waltz and Jeff Progulski, have provided to us. You can find out about all the different podcast platforms to listen to on our podcast page, and that's inovia.com/podcast. So check out our selection and subscribe so you'll be notified when those new episodes air. And fall is here, and that means conference time in our environment. Inovia Consulting is proud to be a premier sponsor of Community Summit, which is a virtual event coming up on October 7th through the 9th. Community Summit is the annual gathering for all NAV and Business Central users and supporters, regardless of your experience level. This is full of great sessions to help you develop leadership skills, improve your NAV BC skills, and so much more. So check out our conference page, and that's inovia.com/conference for details on Community Summit and how you can save money on your summit registration. All right, well, we thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon on another Inovia webinar. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you for having me, Angie. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Dean and Danny.